everyone, and welcome back to Confessions of a Slow Cooker. I'm Ashlyne Blue, and today I'm going to be talking with a person that I have known a lot longer than I thought I had. On my way over here to the studio, I was like, well, when did I meet Whitney Parker? And I feel like I'm one of those people who thinks like 20 years ago was the 80s, which is not the case. Before we started taping, I asked Whitney, how long have we known each other? And we settled on 2008, which is a long time ago. So I'm old, we old. Whitney Parker, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Okay. So like I said, we met back in 2008.
Yes.
You were about to graduate college in 2009. I had just graduated in December 2007, and I was starting my music career at the time. And you were in music business as well. So this is like a weird throwback
totally
to days
now. Yes.
Yeah, right. Neither of us do it anymore.
Yeah.
All right. So Whitney Parker, again, thank you for being on here today. And I just want to start, I want you to start rather where you want to start. So take it away.
Okay. Well, I thought I would just kind of walk you through. We knew each other in college a little bit, and we haven't really had a lot of contact since. So yeah, I've had kind of a crazy journey to motherhood, and I thought I would just kind of walk you through a little bit of it, and hopefully it can resonate with some people listening. So I got married in 2013, and probably about 4 years into marriage, we decided we were ready to have children. So we got pregnant, didn't try for long, maybe 2 or 3 months, got pregnant. And I mean, it's crazy how exciting it is and how you immediately feel different. Like you immediately feel like a mom, like you have this new role. And we were pretty young and naive and, told not a lot of people, but like told our family and celebrated with them, even though, we were probably 4 weeks pregnant. I mean, it was super early. And we ended up miscarrying that baby, at about 8 weeks. So that was like, I was at work, started having some cramps, had not really been sick, which was worrisome to me. Had a little bit of spotting and, just kind of panicked, went home, called my doctor. My doctor was like, you're probably fine. At this point I hadn't even been, to the doctor to like have a first checkup or anything like that. So ended up having that miscarriage at home. And that was like really, you hear that, miscarriages are so common and so many people have them, but it was really shocking for me. I mean, I think part of that was just, being kind of young and naive and just like, oh, everything will go perfectly. This was so easy so far. But it really rattled me. And it was emotionally painful. It was physically painful. I think
really,
I've had multiple miscarriages and that was my most physically, painful miscarriage. And so after that, there was like quite a fear that, of the actual process of miscarriage. Like, anytime I would get pregnant, well, I've got to stay home. We can't travel. Like, I was very worried about where something could happen.
Right. I'm so sorry about that.
Thank you. Thanks. I think my takeaway from that pregnancy really was, of course, this was like my first experience with it. But when you have a miscarriage, you have to go. First of all, you have to go to the doctor, and they like do an ultrasound, a vaginal ultrasound. They're going to make sure that there's nothing there.
Right.
And then you have to go back like every other day for a blood draw
Really?
until your levels are I don't know what they need to be, but until they're like they should be pre-pregnancy,
Okay.
which can take weeks. So
I did not know this.
yeah, it's really awful because you're grieving,
Yeah.
and it seems like this day and age they would maybe, I don't know, have like separate waiting rooms or some kind of something. But you walk into this office and like the first question is, when's your due date or how far along are you?
Oh my God.
And it's like, I'm not pregnant. Like I just had a miscarriage, and you have to say it. It's like, write it in my file, people. So I don't have to keep repeating.
Yeah.
Um, so that was
Oh man.
really, really hard. It was really hard to like day after day go sit in this waiting room and, yeah, just kind of sit with all these like happy, expectant mothers. And
How many days or did it take you to get back to a regular or your pre-levels?
I don't remember in like prepping for
Yeah.
this and thinking through my story. It's crazy how much I have blocked out.
I
It's
understand that.
crazy. And I've listened to your episodes on IVF and like,
Oh, I only know that stuff because I wrote everything down and kept everything.
I wish I would have. Like, I wish I would have
I
journaled through the process, or it's wild how little I remember and how like all consuming it is when it's happening.
It's so all consuming when it's happening. You think it's like seared into your memory. And then, I mean, when I was prepping for those 3 episodes about IVF, I was like, oh, wow. And luckily, I am so type A that, I was able to keep it. I don't even remember planning to keep it, though. Like, it's even that part is a little bit blacked out. So I discovered it. I knew I kept some things, but I didn't remember keeping everything. So, and I'm thankful, but
it's helpful for people. I mean, I wish I had kept it. And some of it was like, oh yeah, I remember that. But a lot of it I have probably blocked. So
it's okay. It's okay. Whatever you haven't blocked.
Yeah.
And whatever you're willing to share about everything, that's good enough for everybody.
Okay.
So after that miscarriage, you said you've had multiple.
I have. So
what was next?
So next, and I don't remember how long it took me to get my levels back, but
it's okay.
Likely a couple of weeks. I mean, it was like multiple trips there. So then was pretty nervous to try to get pregnant again, but kind of started right away, like right as soon as the doctor would clear you. I think you have to wait after a miscarriage like 6 weeks, maybe. That sounds right. So pretty much started trying right away. I think maybe got pregnant in 2 months. Was super nervous about that. I mean, just lots of fear around, are we going to have a miscarriage again? But my doctor was very much like, this happens a lot to people. It's unlikely it would happen twice. So I kind of clung to those words and, was nervous, but forged ahead. I was trying to remember if they had me go ahead and they might have had me go ahead and take like a baby aspirin. And I think I did take progesterone, with this pregnancy, because my numbers were a little bit low, but all in all, it was a healthy, perfect pregnancy. And I had my son, and it was just like, okay, all that's behind us. Like, this is great. This is going to be so easy from here on out. I had this one hiccup, and now here we are. We're moving forward. So when my son was about 2, we decided we were ready to try for a second. So that's, I again, like got pregnant pretty quickly and had a positive pregnancy test. And then like a couple of days later started bleeding. And this was more like regular period. So I was like,
okay,
was it a false positive?
False positive? Yeah.
What happened here? I'm not sure. So called the doctor, went in for a blood test. There was nothing there. They said you were likely pregnant. I mean, I think a false positive is pretty rare.
Yeah.
You were
Yeah.
legally pregnant and had an early miscarriage. So then the fear kind of comes back. Is this going to be something that is a struggle for me? Is this going to be something that I face, over and over again? But they were, again, really encouraging. Like, this is, you've had a healthy pregnancy. Like, we know that you can get pregnant. We know you can stay pregnant. So try not to worry about it. And everything else looked good, on paper, like labs and things like that. So I can't remember how long we waited between the next pregnancy, but it was early 2020.
Okay.
I was pregnant again. So this would be my fourth pregnancy.
Goodness.
And things were going well. I think I went for an 8-week ultrasound. Things were good. At that point, I was labeled high risk because I had multiple losses. But yeah, we took our young son to that first ultrasound. It was like at a high risk place, and he had no idea what was going on, but it was like we heard a heartbeat. I think it was at 6 weeks maybe. And everything was good. So I was feeling like a little more sick with that pregnancy, which was really reassuring to me. And my husband had a work trip that we were going to go on that February. And so before I went, it's like I would have turned 12 weeks while we were on that trip. And I was like,
Yeah.
I've just got to go. Like, I just need like the peace of mind. I didn't feel like anything was wrong, really. Like, I just wanted the reassurance and felt like with multiple losses, like I needed more reassurance. So I made an appointment for an ultrasound. They allowed me to come in for one. And at that ultrasound, it actually, like a little life context during this pregnancy, we were about to remodel our house. So we were moving that day. We were moving into a friend's guest house, and we had packed up all of our stuff. And my sister came over to watch our son, and my husband was moving stuff, and I headed to this ultrasound. And they were like, okay, you're 12 weeks. So we should hear it. Like, we don't have to do a vaginal ultrasound. We can do a normal one.
Right.
They got the little Doppler out, and, if you've had one of those, that like feeling every few, like when you,
I'm like, hands are sweating.
yeah, it's like
listening to you. Like, I remember this viscerally now.
You feel so nervous, and until you hear that heartbeat, and you're just, whew. So they couldn't find a heartbeat, and they were like, okay, well, don't worry. It's probably just this machine. We'll go get another one. They go out to the hallway. They wheel in another one. Still no heartbeat. So then I'm starting to panic. They leave me. They're like, this was just like in a normal exam room.
Yeah.
So they're like, we're going to get you into one of the actual ultrasound rooms. We'll do a vaginal ultrasound. We'll definitely, you're right on the cusp. Maybe we can't hear it. So I waited in that room by myself for like 10 minutes. And I think I called my husband during that time, and he came, but, by
the way,
yeah,
you're like, like you're in a gown, you're exposed anyway, your legs, all these things that's so uncomfortable anyway.
Yeah.
And then waiting there for 10 minutes, how long did that feel?
Yeah.
Like an hour?
Yeah. It felt like a million years and then you're running through all these worst case scenarios, and I'm trying to like,
oh gosh,
calm down, I mean, of course, like my heart rate is accelerated.
Right. You've got something in there, and you're hoping that it's not going to,
Yeah.
And I'm like panicking in I know where this goes. And I'm panicking. I know mine actually ended up with my kid, but oh my gosh, I literally, I'm having a hard time. Continue.
Yeah, it was awful. It was awful. And the truth is like, you're already attached. I mean, I think that I was like confused before I had experienced miscarriage about, well, how can you be attached? It's been 6 weeks. It's been 8 weeks. It's been 12 weeks. You're attached. And it's, I mean, you already love that baby, so it's hard. So anyways, they came back in, they got me into an ultrasound room. I think by that point my husband was there, and yeah, no heartbeat. No heartbeat. So I can't remember what the baby was measuring, but you know, it had been somewhere around 10 or 11 weeks. So at that point, they take me back to an exam room and they're like, we're going to have a DNC, which is, you know, where they take all of that like fetal material.
Tissue.
It needs to be tomorrow. You know, I think they need to do it pretty fast. Like it's not safe for the mom to just carry it around. And then they started talking to me about genetic testing. You're going to need genetic testing because at this point, like if we count that second one, then this is 3. So at this point, we think this is not a coincidence. Like something is not right. So she gave me a name of a geneticist that day. She gave me a name of a therapist that day that only worked with people going through infertility. And then we made the appointment for the DNC the next morning. So that was a really hard one. I mean, at this point, like I had a healthy son, and I think I had just wrapped my brain around this like other child we were going to welcome into our family. And that was a hard one. That was tough.
And at this point, you know, your body can do it. That was always my wonder. Could it do it? You know, not having any time in my life positive pregnancy test until literally my kid, who is my only child. And so at this point, what, like, do you feel like you're straddling 2 worlds? You know, like I feel like this third one got further along than the other 2 miscarriages. So, I mean, like they say, like when you pass a certain amount, you probably are in the clear, but that's not really the case. You weren't necessarily to the 20, obviously, but like I know some people who made it past the 20 and still had late miscarriage, right? And so, and again, I did have a embryo carriage, I guess. Like it didn't take, but and that was devastating. But I have not been through this, and I did not need any sort of DNC or anything of that nature. So going home to where you're not going to be for much longer because you're moving elsewhere that same day, the displacement of that, knowing that you have a dead baby inside of you, that sounds terribly like stark to say. Just that 24-hour period sounds like hell.
Yeah, it really was. I remember going back to the guest house we were staying in, and just like none of our stuff was there, and like I didn't have any comforts of home.
Yeah.
Of course, I was devastated and sad, and my sister lived in town and came over and was helping to take care of my son and kind of letting me rest. And yeah, it was awful. I mean, it was terrible.
Like, how do you even sleep?
Yeah, I don't remember if I slept much. I mean, I think it's like a moment of like kind of deep deep grief where you just
Yeah.
want to go away for a little bit. And like, I think
Yeah.
you just want to go to sleep, you know, you want to sleep
Okay.
a week later, you know, to all
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
over. Um, and, and then you still had like the anxiety of this
Mhm.
surgery that was going to happen the next day that I've never done that. I'd never had any kind of surgery. So just the idea, well, I mean, I had delivered my son, so, you know, I had been to a hospital and gone through that kind of stuff, but
Yeah.
go back to
But
where I
this is
delivered my son to basically deliver
yeah.
this child that like I wouldn't get to ever know. It was a lot. It was a lot of grief. It was a lot to wrap my brain around. Um, and I was very emotional about it. I mean, I was like, I remember in the room, in the prep room, the day of the surgery, and I truly, my OB was wonderful, and she had walked with me through a few losses at this point.
Mhm.
And yeah, I mean, she came in and like, I remember asking her questions and getting emotional, and she was like tearing up and crying with us.
Yeah.
And it was, yeah, it was comforting that she cared.
Yeah. Not too clinical.
Yeah, yeah. To place it and like for Nashvillians, after, I guess this probably, I think I had a DNC around the late January, I think, of 2020. So then, you know, around mid-February, I'm really stressed. I mean, I'm stressed thinking like I might not have another kid, which felt awful to me. I mean, it felt horrible, because I think this was one of the first times where you're kind of faced with the reality that like two things are true at one time. And
Yeah.
like the joy of raising my son and just experiencing life with him every day was just so joyful. And the sadness that came with, this is the last time I'm going to be able to do this. Like I need to really
Mhm.
soak it up. Um, it was hard. I'm sure you can relate to that and understand.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and it's also, I think it also like makes you a better parent because
Yeah.
you really soak it up and you really care.
I feel very present in my
Yeah.
motherhood journey,
Yeah.
and I think it is I want to say probably also because I'm an older parent,
Mm.
and I'm not as busy as I would have been, you know, 10 years ago, but more than anything else, I know he's it.
Yeah.
And I don't take any of it for granted.
Mhm.
And I constantly stare at him like I'm like, luckily he doesn't notice me staring at him. Otherwise he'd be like, my mom is psycho. Um, I constantly look at him. I'm like, you are the embryo that could.
Mhm.
You are the embryo that could. And um, yeah, I'm totally there with you. I wanted to say one thing
Yeah.
about what I assume,
Mhm.
because again, I haven't been through this part of miscarriage. That, normally when you go to the hospital for something,
Mhm.
even when I know there's an IVF piece to this as well, so
Mhm.
and you'll get to that, but normally when you go to the hospital, you're going for something to be fixed or taken care of or cleaned out, like for good, like
Mhm.
for something that you might not elect to do, maybe you have to do, but like a surgery is meant to repair, or a baby is being delivered, or whatever. It's usually, I feel like, in your favor. And this is just like the meanest trick
Mhm.
because you're going for your health, yes, but you're not coming home with anything other than emptiness.
Yeah.
I imagine.
That is
And
what.
just like you said, going to get in the same place that you would deliver a baby,
Mhm.
you're now delivering something you can't take home.
Mhm. Yep. And I remember saying to my doctor in the room before, like crying and saying like this feels like an abortion. And And I don't say that to like get political and whatever.
Yeah.
I say that just like, I didn't want that. Like I wanted this baby. No doubts about it. And she was just had to tell me like, that's not what this is. Like there is no way, like this baby is not viable. Like it's gone. So yeah.
And how did that weigh on you? Because you come from a spiritual background, religious background. That term is technically what it was.
Yeah.
But not in the way that we have come up to know it.
Yeah.
And did that carry on with you? Because I know you had the other 2 miscarriages, but they didn't seem nearly as like medically assisted to take out the, like you had to do some medical stuff.
Yeah. No, I mean, no, I think I needed her reassurance in that moment. I mean, I think I already knew like, that's not what this is, but I think I needed to hear her say it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was helpful for me to hear her say it. I think after she did, like I was fine. I
good. Okay, good.
Able to let that go. There was nothing they could have done. It's not like we could have done something to make this baby alive again, you know?
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah. So it felt like the next step. It was just a hard step.
Yeah.
But
yeah. I know so many people are in that. So I know people who have had to make a decision.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's no good out of any of this, but I imagine it would be a little simpler if the decision is made for you.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it is. I can't imagine just the grief and like guilt and shame that you would probably put on yourself for having to make a decision like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's like when you get pregnant, when you're trying to get pregnant, you are opening yourself up to a lot of hardship, right? And
potentially.
And that's, I mean, I think that's the thing with any relationship that we enter into is, you know, there's a great chance for loss and heartache, but you do it because it's worth it. But yeah, I mean, taking that on, deciding you want to be a mom and going for it is not for the weak.
No, it is not. My child's about to be 2. I feel very weak myself, but okay. So after that, what was next?
So after that,
genetic testing.
Yeah. Well, I was so stressed. I mean, I was like, started to have these like heart palpitations, which I've never experienced before.
And how old are you at this point?
I was, let's see, in 2020, at 6 years, I was 32.
Okay.
So
not yet geriatric.
Not yet. I got there. I got there. But yeah, like it just felt weird in my chest. Like it just felt like not even like, well, yeah, I guess like I couldn't catch my breath sometimes. And so I went to a cardiologist. And he hooked me up to this, you know, heart monitor I had to wear for 24 hours. And just kind of a funny story is to place it for Nashvillians. It was the night of the tornado that came through Nashville. So not funny. That's not funny. But I was hooked up before that night, that evening, I was hooked up to this heart monitor and actually went to Sperry's with a friend, and we were sitting at the bar at Sperry's having a martini, like trying to be normal, trying to try to enjoy life and calm down and have a good evening. And then later that night, this tornado comes through and I'm hooked up to all these wires and stuff. And it's like,
I'm sorry, that's not funny.
Right.
It's not funny, but
we're in this guest house. There's no basement. Like we're trying to figure out, like, do we grab our son and run into the main? It was really stressful. And it's like, this is probably not a typical 24-hour period for them to monitor, but oh well.
Right. Take into account that I almost died. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. But I did go back, you know, for them to review it. And it was just funny that their response is, you're under a lot of stress. Like, you need to try to relax. And it's like,
Thanks.
yeah, no shit. I'm under a lot of stress. Like,
I'm sorry. When people tell people to relax, I think I saw a meme about it. Like, calm down, like, has helped 0 people.
yeah, not helpful.
Calm down.
And I feel like I actually say it to my kids a lot. So let's keep that in mind. But yeah, so that was not fun. So anyways, then I go meet with a geneticist, and she was amazing. And just kind of walked through, did like a genogram where she like mapped out my family, mapped out my husband's family for like health history.
Yeah.
I actually had met with her, I think at my son's 20th, like the big ultrasound that you do.
Yeah.
Like somehow she had been there. But anyways, she's incredible. But even she was like, I do not think, she was like, you could have some genetic thing, but like, I don't think so. Like, it's not showing up really in your family history. I mean, there's a couple miscarriages, and like my grandmother had a couple miscarriages, but she's like, I don't really see anywhere where there's something obvious. But we're going to do this, blood test or whatever and figure it out. So I go back into her office, and yeah, she tells me that I have an inversion on my 4th chromosome. It's a paracentric inversion, which means it's the center of the chromosome.
Okay.
I had to like read up on it a little bit before that. Yeah. Like, it was so overwhelming to like have all this information thrown at me at the time while I'm still like just kind of grieving and sad. And
I imagine you want to know.
Yes, you want
like quickly,
answers.
but also the actual answer can be overwhelming and potentially devastating.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean, I found out all this information, trying to understand it. Their advice was IVF.
Okay.
So that we could do genetic testing on the embryos, and we would know if the baby was a carrier or was affected by it. Mm-hmm. There's all these different things. I mean, it's crazy how smart these people are and how little they know about this, because first of all, it's rare. It's not a chromosome that a lot of people have a problem with. It's not like a common one. So there's very little research on it. And then they just kind of throw all these numbers at you. Like, well, there's a 30% chance that you would have a live born who
live birth,
is, has a lot of health issues. But there's a 50% chance of this, and there's a 15% chance. And it's just hard to process it all and to understand it and to know that, like, now I know the risk and I'm entering into it willingly. And that feels like a burden, that feels like a burden on me. And it feels like a burden on my son that I have. Like, now I have to think about, what if I do this? We have a child who has major medical issues, and, we spend a lot of the next decade in hospitals with that child, and we miss out on our son's life. Like, it was like a really hard balance. I think if you just naturally have a child with medical needs, I mean,
it is what it is.
It is what it is. I don't think that's easy at all. I think that's so incredibly hard. And you didn't know about it. You didn't know it was a possibility, and you didn't choose it. And other people aren't affected by your decision. So it just felt like a really heavy weight to carry.
Yeah.
So we kind of let that.
That is partially why we are done trying.
Really?
Because my eggs are 40, and I don't have any more. I didn't have, it's not like I went in and did IVF for to freeze my eggs.
Right.
I went in, they got all of them. The only ones that made it through the whole process, the only embryos we have, one is a kid, one did not make it. And so I had to have to start all over again.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't want to rock the boat.
Right. Yeah. It makes
mean, not to mention, like the time it takes to do all of it.
Yeah.
And the fact that I live 3 hours away um from the place to do it, like I'd actually have to like leave and take time off from everything else I'm doing, and including with my son.
Right.
And yeah, I totally, you have to weigh all those things.
Yep.
Especially when when it gets really clinical for you. It's not that like, oh well, we'll just roll the dice,
Exactly.
we'll just see.
Yeah. And I was just reading this email from the geneticist that I had gotten that year, and it was like, we think that your inversion, when we measure it, we think it's 33% of the entire length of the chromosome.
Okay.
We
I hate math,
predict
but keep
that
going.
with an abnormal liveborn, or the chances of you having an abnormal liveborn normally happen less than 30%. And it's just like, so they're like,
Does that make you feel better, or?
We basically guess that you would miscarry the baby. It would be so like unviable. Is that a word? Unviable. Yeah.
It is now.
Okay, perfect. Inviable, unviable. I think it's unviable. That
or not viable.
Right. That you would consider.
Yeah.
But it does measure pretty close to an abnormal liveborn. And that sounds so scientific, an abnormal liveborn, but this is how they have to talk about this kind of stuff. So yeah, it was just really like, what do we do now? We kind of left that first meeting, and my husband was like, we're doing IVF. And I was like, no way. Like, I could not possibly wrap my brain around giving myself shots and just all the things. Like, no, I've done this before naturally and it was easy, and I'm not going to now do it a hard way. Like, it just felt too much, like too overwhelming. Then we started wrestling with it, and we kind of switched positions, and then we, it was just like, we're seeking counsel. We're trying to decide what's right. We did have this like component on like, were we even okay with IVF? Like, we wondered, like, is it okay to do? Is it worth doing? I mean, like, we had a child already. Like, why couldn't we just be happy and grateful and satisfied, and that be that? So yeah, it was really hard to wrestle with that. In the midst of that, we went to our, pastor at our church to ask him his opinion, to ask him what does the church think about IVF? Like, what is this okay for us to do? And, I think we knew he was probably against it. But he was like, you need to talk to our elder. One of our elders is a doctor. And, like, he knows way more about this than I do. I can't possibly like answer your questions, but he probably can. So we had this phone call with an elder at our church. And he basically told us we would go to hell if we did IVF.
Helpful. Thanks.
Very helpful.
I guess I'm going.
Me too.
See you there.
Yep. It was really awful. And
I'm sorry. Hold on. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I wonder what that man would say to my kid. Like, you saying what my life is something that will send my mom wanting me to come into this world will send her to hell. What does that say about me?
Yeah.
How valuable is my life?
I think that was the hardest part for me, is because I already like became like on guard and defensive of this child that I might have one day. And was like, I felt very isolated by that. And like, if you couldn't love my kid, which he didn't say that, but if you couldn't love my kid, or you couldn't think my kid was created by God in the same way that my son was, then like, I didn't want anything to do with you. Like, it was very like protective. Like, no, at the same time, COVID's happening. church isn't happening in person. It's happening on, the computer. We're isolated from our neighbors and our friends. Everybody was in COVID, but also we're at this other place, living in this other place.
Right.
It was just very isolating and really stressful to like, I didn't even want to tune into church, right? Like I was mad. I was hurt.
Yeah.
And it really wasn't their opinion that hurt me so badly. Like everyone's entitled to their opinion, however they want to interpret things. Like, okay, what was so hurtful to me in that situation was that elder told us that and knew we were wrestling with this big decision and then never once checked in with us. Never once said, how are you doing? What are you thinking about this? Like, how can I pray for you about this? How can I help you? I'm a doctor. I mean, he knew nothing about genetic counseling. He knew nothing about IVF. He knew nothing about women's health in general. Like, I'm sure he had a connection. Like, he didn't offer anything except for his opinion that we were going to go to hell.
Which is not a medical opinion, by the way.
Not a medical opinion.
Because I feel like from what you're saying, the pastor was like, maybe you should talk to someone with some medical experience. Like that was the reason.
That's true.
He was like,
yeah,
because he could have offered that same thing as the pastor,
That's
right?
True.
Like
he could have.
I feel like he was passing it off to somebody with more, hopefully someone who would look into it or have a little bit more of a medical bent.
Yeah.
Because this is more of a clinical thing.
Yeah.
But he skipped over all that part.
Yeah. Completely skipped over it. Just, you're going to go to hell.
And just place that on your heart.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep, exactly. So that was hard for me. And I was like, well, done there. Like, not going to be going back to that church, which was sad because I loved a lot of people at that church. And a lot of people don't feel like that at that church and would have been shocked had they known that. And also wasn't going to like badmouth him and spread that around, but it was not helpful at all. And in fact, it just placed such an extra burden of shame and guilt on me while I was wrestling with, should we do this? Should we not? And like,
I'm very mad right now.
I know. Listen, I spent like a year like that.
Oh man.
And, it was really hard because then I was wrestling with like, what I wanted was another healthy child that was like my son. I mean, I wanted another, because we talked about adoption, right? But it's like, I wanted another him, like another one of me and my husband. So anyways, that was hard. So while we're wrestling with it, we are like trying to, decipher, like understand everything that this geneticist is saying, understand potential eternal repercussions. I mean, just like, wow, it just felt huge, huge. And we decided, okay, we're just going to keep trying. We're just going to keep trying. Like the chances are we're not going to have it's a low chance that we're going to make it to a birth and, there be a major medical problem. So we tried twice more. I was pregnant twice more, 2 more miscarriages.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm. So, one was kind of like that second one, positive test, started bleeding a few days later.
Yeah. Yeah.
Another one ended up being an ectopic pregnancy.
Oh.
No clue how that came into the picture. No clue. But they just very early on, from the second I got a positive test after that first miscarriage, I had to go in for blood draws every other day. They wanted to monitor the progression. So with that one, it was like, hey, your numbers are going up, but not enough. And then they started like leveling out. They were confused. So they realized it was ectopic. I think what they do with an ectopic, I'm pretty sure I went in for a shot, which they give you. It's like the same shot that they would give you for chemo. I don't understand it. Basically, it dissolves any tissue there. I mean, again, that was another issue where I was like, is this an abortion? They were like, no, you're going to die if you don't have this. First of all, we can't even find this fetus, this embryo. Like, we can't find it.
It's living in a place it should not be growing.
Yeah. And it's dangerous
Or
at this point.
maybe not living, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And it's not doing well. Like, the numbers are down. Like, this isn't a viable pregnancy either. So after that, like, I just remember.
So this is number 5?
Yeah, 5.
Okay.
So I just remember driving into the doctor, like saying goodbye to my son that morning and just driving into the OB to get this shot. And I was just like, I've had enough. Like, I can't keep doing it.
Whitney, this is like.
It's a lot. I mean, and then also, like, I don't want to compare my grief to other people's grief, but there are plenty of people who, you know, miscarry way later in a pregnancy, and like, I can't imagine that. I can't imagine that. And then, I mean, worse. I mean, there are people whose children die.
Yeah, but your grief is your grief when it happens.
Because you're right. You're right.
You can't. I spent a lot of time comparing my story to other people's, not because I want it to be harder, but because I think mine is easier, and I feel like a lot of people don't talk about their stories because they're afraid that it's not going to be bad enough. You know, that it's like, well, who am I to complain or be sad by my story when someone else had it way worse? Like, that can't be why we don't talk, you know, about this stuff. And that's a shame for anyone who feels like they can't speak because they had something a little less difficult. Yeah. Like, I mean, spoiler alert, we're both divorced. And I felt that way about divorce too. Like, I didn't have a kid and so I didn't have to deal with that part. So I felt like guilty for having a hard time post divorce when other people had it worse than I did because they had to deal with the parenting thing. Right. And it's just like, no, your grief, your negative is your negative. You're living it. You lived all the stuff ahead of it. You're having to live with it from this point forward. Yeah. And I don't think anyone's ever going to win that game. Yeah. You know, it's a bad game to play. Yeah. So let your grief be as bad as it was for you. You went through 5 miscarriages, lady. Yeah. 5. That's not something to be like, well, I know other people have it worse. No, that's terrible.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why our culture does that really, but we do. But you're exactly right. I mean, yeah, it was awful and it was all consuming at the time. And, you know.
Do you feel betrayed by your body at this point? Like, I always felt like I was like, what is wrong with me that,
you know,
I can't
get pregnant? I felt like very in tune with my body and very grateful for my body. And I try to remember that now as like, I, you know, struggle with everything women struggle with. But like, I try to remind myself, like, my body has been through so much and like it protected me from a lot. Like, yes, I wanted those children and they weren't viable. And like my body knew, I don't know. I feel grateful.
Yeah. You trusted. Yeah. You trust your body to do the thing it needs to do. Yeah. Yeah. That's really good. Yeah. That's really healthy, actually.
Yeah, well, beast, but that's healthy, but yes.
So you didn't go through IVF?
We did. So
you did?
We didn't. We had 2 more miscarriages. We didn't go through IVF. And then after those 2, we went through IVF. Okay. So that geneticist was kind of referred me to, there's 2 places in Nashville, referred me to one of those that she had been in school with. And, and they basically were like, you're a perfect candidate for IVF because you can carry a baby. You just have this genetic piece that we can weed out.
Can work around that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And yeah, so it was my IVF experience. I almost don't remember a lot of it because I think I had been through so much already and everything felt easier than what I had been through. Like, okay, just tell me what to do. So now I give myself this shot. Great. Let's do it. Like, we're on the home stretch here. We've been through like every kind of miscarriage you can have basically. And it's just like,
yeah, you had the full experience.
Yep. Whole gamut. So
all flavors.
Yes. So yeah, it felt, you know, I remember the pieces of it. I think again, my body, like, somehow responded really well to IVF. I didn't feel
Good.
like you hear about like the bloating and the discomfort. I didn't have that. Like I felt good. We got a lot of eggs. We fertilized only a few because we were very intentional about just taking it one step at a time. And yeah, and then I have a baby girl, and it was wonderful and yeah, easy, honestly. Like once I just gave in to like I was so resistant. And yeah, just very thankful that it worked out that way.
I'm so glad. And when did you have your baby girl?
In 2022.
22. Okay.
Yeah. So she's
Oh man, that was a rough year for us. Oof.
Yeah.
That's when we tried to start.
Yeah.
But we couldn't. Yeah.
Yeah. When I look back at the timeline of mine, it's really, I mean, I think I looked at this last night, from 2016 until 2022, from first miscarriage to my daughter's birth. I mean, that's not that long.
No, but it feels long when you are trying to get pregnant, or if you're trying to do IVF, start IVF, everything is like elongated. I felt that way after divorce too. Every day felt like 5 days.
Absolutely.
And then when I look back, I was like, wow, I really was like 2 years before I met my lovely, wonderful human of a husband. But it felt like 10 years. I would have said, I've been, it's 10 years now, but
which is crazy. That's so hard to believe, but yes.
I know.
Yeah. But I mean, you think about all those, that's 7 pregnancies, and it was in that short amount of time. I mean, kind of wild.
You have a son, you have a daughter. Did you feel complete after this?
I did. Yeah, I did. And well, I say that. Yeah, I did. My story kind of takes a turn there.
Plot twist.
Hot twist. Yeah, plot twist. My I ended up getting divorced after that second child was born. Yeah, there was just.
So you're in the IVF club and the divorce club.
I'm in all the clubs.
We have a very great club of both of those. So if anyone wants to join, I'm just kidding. It's not something you elect to join.
You don't want to, if you don't.
But a lot of good people in them.
Yeah, absolutely there are. So yeah, my story takes a turn. And I think I probably at that point was kind of so blindsided by that. Especially in light of that we had so intentionally had another child together, that I don't even know that I've processed, like there was not an option for my family to not be happy at that point. It was, that was it. So,
wow, that is an interesting.
No, I don't think it would have been over at that point. Had I stayed married, but yeah, I didn't have that option.
Didn't see that coming.
I do feel happy, and like, I'm so incredibly grateful for my 2 children. And, at this point, like I wouldn't change anything. And, and also being a single mom is hard. So I don't know how I could deal with it. I don't imagine handle more kids.
Being a mom in general is hard. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes. So.
I guess the timing of that would have precluded, that doesn't even sound like a word all of a sudden.
That's a word.
Would have kept you, it is? Okay. I guess the timing of that would have definitely just taken that off the table.
It did. Yep.
For you.
It did.
Man.
After all of that.
Yeah. After all that you went through, that just is, I don't want to say cherry on top, because that puts maybe a sarcastic cherry on top. And that's just another loss at that point for you to endure. And this is not a podcast about divorce at all, but but it doesn't really matter in my experience. It doesn't really matter if the two people want to stay married or don't want to stay married. Divorce is hard. You know, I know a lot of people in this shitty divorce club, and everybody's experience again is their experience. And it's a loss. It's a loss of the life that you thought you were signing up for in one way or another. And to add insult to injury, you have just gone through all you did just to get that child. So and that said, I'm so glad that that child exists. You know, she is going to do great things because she was meant to be here.
Absolutely.
But yeah, golly, you've been through the ringer.
I really have. When I take a beat and think about it, yeah, I really have.
Girl. Yeah, well, and it's so interesting when you start to like think of your path, like you were going through, it really wasn't that long of time. But like think of all the things you went through, not just trying to get a baby.
Exactly. From
like renovation.
Yes.
Tornado, COVID, everything.
Yeah. Well, in that 10 years, like from 16 to today to 26, it's all of that. Yeah. Plus finding out, you know, blindside, oh, you're getting divorced and trying to fix it and then actually getting divorced, then actually figuring out co-parenting, then dealing with saying goodbye to my kids every other weekend. Like it's a lot. It's been quite the decade. I'm looking forward to a new decade. Good things.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah. And so now we talked at the beginning a little bit about how you we were both in the music industry at the time. What do you do now?
So I kind of, when I realized like, wow, I was a stay-at-home mom with my son. So horrible timing to like, had waited so long for my daughter. And then it was like, okay, now I need to go back to work.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just did what I was passionate about. I went back to school for marriage and family therapy, actually. So my hope is that I can help other couples in crisis kind of avoid this.
Yeah.
And then if it's unavoidable, I hope I can help people with divorce adjustment, with infertility, with grief and loss. Yeah.
What a perfect candidate for all of those things. You can come from a place of empathy, understanding, and no judgment, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
There's one good thing about going through all this. All the things that and I'm speaking for myself, but all the things that I've gone through to get where I am today have really made me, I feel like, just a deeper human. They have forced me to see how things can go wrong, but also how things can get better afterward.
Yeah.
And I don't wish pain on anyone, loss, grief of that, but it's unavoidable in a lot of ways.
It is.
Right? Like something is going to happen at some point in your life.
Absolutely.
If it doesn't, I don't know, like I feel like you're kind of on an island. Like if you can't, there's something to be said about going through the pain and getting to the other side. Like I feel like more people felt like they could have a conversation with me after I went through something difficult because they saw more humanity in me. And I don't know if that means that I seemed untouchable before or unapproachable before, but I was like, I realized after my divorce that I was getting to talk to more people that I knew before. I don't know. It was like it like tipped something over a little bit, and I don't know. My life, I feel like, has gotten better.
Yeah.
It wasn't fun at the beginning, but yeah, I feel like my conversations are deeper. I feel like my friendships are deeper because there's some common thread. Even if I'm not talking to somebody who had any fertility or anyone who went through a divorce, like there's something about sharing that just, I feel like just like it ties you a little bit more in the foundation of a relationship if you're willing to talk about the hard things, you know?
Yeah, I think so. I don't have a lot of patience for the surface level conversations anymore.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
no, we're too old for that anyway.
Yeah. And
I don't have it. I don't.
started after my miscarriage. I really do.
Interesting. Yeah.
Just like no longer wanted to deal with the everyday stuff. Like, give me the grief, give me what's hard. Or what's good, but real stuff.
Yeah, and I also thought like during my not getting pregnant, on my own, and then the IVF, and then losing the first embryo, like I told people about it. I didn't post about it on like online or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing wrong with anyone who does. Like, I'm just saying that was just not my way. But people knew, and I thought, well, if I don't tell people when I'm going through the hard stuff, it's going to be a lot harder for them to celebrate how far I've come if something good happens.
That's true.
So I didn't want to wait to tell them only the good. And I felt that way during my divorce too. Like I see that you're having a good life now, person who went through a divorce 10 years ago, 15 years ago. But what did you do in the hard parts?
Yeah.
Because I'm in the hard part right now, Yes. And I want to know, like, how did you get out of that? Or, what turns did you make? And what would you avoid if you were me? That's the stuff that has always really intrigued me. And the same goes for fertility stories. Is like, it's not about, well, we got pregnant. Like, that's a great ending to a story, but it's not a story if you don't talk about, like, who wants to watch a movie where everything good, the only things that happen are the good things, like the happy ever afters. Like, no one watches that stuff. So why in the world would we do that to ourselves in our own lives, And so, again, that's not to say like you have to post about everything that went badly in your life either. And this is not about social media, but all we do typically see is the good.
Yeah.
Is the yay. And this finally happened. And I feel like we're selling ourselves short.
Yes.
And so, yeah, and I think it's better one-on-one. It's, not necessarily an announcement kind of thing to do. And you do have to go through fertility stuff a lot of times in private, just like divorce in private, because there are so many things and you're not the only one going through it. That's the other thing,
True.
But finding people in real life, in real time, I think can really make a difference because you don't attach blame and attach things. Someone can kind of challenge you in those moments to bring you out of it. And having a partner or a mother or father, a best friend, somebody who's checking in on you and knows what you're going through, I think is key.
Yeah.
And then talking about it afterward, like we're doing,
I agree. It's helpful to process it. And in thinking about, doing this today, I realized like there's a lot I haven't really processed. There's a lot left. So that was helpful. But I was thinking when you were saying
or a counselor, sorry. Yeah, I forgot I left out your
That's
your new
right.
profession.
We're therapists, please. After our first miscarriage, you would think like we wouldn't have told people that we were pregnant. We did the opposite. It was like, we are going to need people there if we have another miscarriage. So it was like, we told people even sooner after that. And I think it is realizing, kind of just to echo what you said, if you need people there, you need people there in good times and bad. And so the only way to do that is kind of to let them know, fill them in on the whole story. So
bring them in at the beginning.
Exactly.
Next, I want to do a segment called Hot Potato. You sort of already said something that I can go ahead and rate.
That was one of my hot potatoes.
Yeah. Going to hell for doing IVF, I'm pretty sure that's like a 6 out of 5.
I was thinking like 15, but yeah.
Yeah, okay. Like, we'll just have to get a lot more potatoes on the screen. Yeah. All right, to close, is there anything that I'm not laughing? Sorry. It's just that was a lot. Yeah. Is there anything that through all of this, I know you learned a lot about yourself, and obviously it has led you to your new career in life, and I can't wait to hear about how that goes moving forward. And I think it will be so great for the people who see you, especially if they know a little bit of your story. You don't have to tell them in person; they can hear it here.
Yeah.
But is there anything through all the stuff that you've been through? Is there anything that you would like whittle it down to like something you either wish you would have known, or something that you would have done differently, or just any advice that you could give from your experience? Again, this is not you telling someone else what to do, but based on what you have gone through. Is there anything you would tell someone out there listening, going through the same thing? Multiple miscarriages. Oh my goodness. And IVF or IVF.
Mm-hmm. First of all, I feel proud of how I dealt with my grief. It's a hard thing to go through, and I feel like it made me, kind of like what we said earlier, a more present parent. It made me more aware of and grateful for all the good things happening, like for me watching my son grow up, kind of carrying both of those things at the same time, joy and pain at the same time. For me to not hide how I was feeling, but to process it and grieve, and then move, and then go be with my family.
Can I just, is there a class to learn how to deal with grief before you have it?
No, not that.
No, there is no class to learn pre-grief how to deal with, like, how am I going to deal with something I didn't see coming?
Yeah.
5 different times in 5 different ways.
Yeah.
With, I'm going to hell on the side. And I'm sorry. Grief is grief because it's grief.
Yeah.
And how you handle it. Yeah, there are more difficult ways, or more, not difficult. There are more, I would say, I would say maybe like don't go too heavy on the bottle, or like there are ways to like that can hurt other people in your lives, that can like maybe separate you from someone in a relationship. But
sure,
however you dealt with it is how you dealt with it.
Yeah,
because you
agree.
Had the grief.
Yeah, and I think that's why I want to share it. Is I think it's, I mean, what you just said. It's your grief. It's like you're allowed to grieve however you need to grieve. I mean, as long as you're not being self-destructive and harming other people.
Right.
Like,
that's it. That's self-destructive. That was what I was trying to get.
Like, you are allowed to experience the pain that has come into your life in any way that, in an authentic way to you.
We got a lot more things to worry about than how someone else is looking at our grief. Am I doing it right?
Yeah.
Am I doing it small enough so it doesn't touch anyone else? It's like asking for someone to pour out a cup of water, but it stops before it hits you. Yeah. No, that's not how water works. Right. Water moves until it stops moving or until it's mopped up. And I feel like grief is the same thing. It stops moving when it's done its thing. Yeah. And you have to handle it. And there are worse ways to handle grief than others, like we said, self-destructive. But just having it, like, we've got way more going on than worrying about that.
Yep. Totally agree.
And you really did.
Yeah. What I've taken from all of it, I think my encouragement piece for somebody listening would be like to try to be happy and grateful for what you have when you have it. I think that, most everything in life is temporary. And if you're always, like, I remember, with my son, it was like, oh, well, I just want another, we had just moved into the house we lived in, and like our boxes were everywhere. And it was like, if I could just have another newborn experience where like we were all settled and, it was all perfect. And then when I had that, my family was falling apart. So it's like, if you can just be grateful and not try to look for like, how could this be more perfect? But like, okay, this is hard. I'm in a hard situation and these are the things that I'm grateful for. And these are the things I'm going to cling to. And, yeah, I don't know how to wrap that up with a bow, but
No, it's okay. I think it's easier said than done, right?
yeah.
To be grateful in the moment. But as you were talking, I was like thinking, what do I do in this situation? Because I do feel like I'm really present with my kid, and I feel like it's just a benefit of going through all the hard stuff. But I think a way to maybe look at it, maybe a way to reframe it, is instead of thinking, well, if you just could be more grateful, because that's kind of like saying relax, when you can't. But I have found that recently, because like everything is in flux at all times when you have a baby, and we moved this past year, and that was hard. And then we had a lot of issues selling our other place. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh. But now when I look back at it, it's like that was a year. And those are so many memories. And they aren't ones I will forget, because they were so vivid and so like nuts. And so maybe a way to be able to do what you're saying is to think, we're making memories.
Yeah.
This is a memory. And try to think, oh, how am I going to look at this, a year from now? Because it will have been done. It will be over. And so when I look back at last year, I'm like, woo, that was a year. That was a lot, on a lot of different levels. But that's the year we moved.
Yeah.
And my kid, like that's the year we did this. That's the year I did that. And it's like easier when you talk about it in retrospect.
Yeah.
It's easier just to think of the hard stuff. It's hard to remember the easy stuff, I feel.
Yeah.
It doesn't stick out in your brain. So maybe if you can think, okay, well, this is going to be funny in 10 years, or this is going to be a memorable moment.
Yeah.
Memorable doesn't mean easy. Memorable just means you remember it. And if you can put that together with the good stuff, maybe, I don't know if that's even doable, but I'm like trying to figure out how you can actually be present when you're not present. It's hard to do.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's hard work to be intentional about that. But I think you're right. If you can do it, then you're going to remember more about life and probably take more joy from your experiences. So
I will say one of the ways that I'm able to, I feel like be really, really present is I write to my son. Oh, cool. I've been writing to him since the day before my first workup at IVF, which is February 22. And I called the baby I hope to have one day Little Blue. Okay. And then eventually, obviously, I was like, all right, you're going to be a boy, because I only have 4 boy embryos here. They're going to testing. And so I have been talking to Archer for years, and I've continued to do that. And because I love a baby book. They're cute. Like I have one that I really, really like from a company called Kept. That was hard to say. And it's little things, little vignettes or whatever. But on the whole, what I want him to know later is like how things were hard or what happened recently. I don't write all the time. It's in fits and starts. But when something big happens in the world, I might write about how I feel about it in real time, or talk about the way he says words, which are mostly wrong right now. But I know I'll forget that stuff. Yes, so I feel like that's an easy way to kind of see like the world around you. That might be a way. Maybe don't do the memory thing that I said earlier. That was kind of useless. But maybe like another way for you to like, get out of your head. And maybe that's just journaling for yourself. I'm a big proponent of journaling to get my thoughts out on paper. It leads me to remember things too, because you can go back and be like, how did I feel about that? Right. I don't know.
I love that.
I think that's a great, what you said is great advice. Harder to actually do. Right. But I think all of us wish that we could have been more present. I definitely wish that about a lot of times in my life.
Yeah.
But that's, we'll all make that mistake.
Absolutely. I feel like it's
over and over again.
It's a daily thing. I mean, it's like I think the gist of it is like, you can't wait for things to be perfect. They're never going to be perfect. So
yeah, that's an acceptance thing. That's something you can just accept.
Yeah.
To be true. I think we all know that. We just all have an idea in our head of how things are going to go or how things are going to look for our own lives. And the sooner you can get that out of your head and live or die by it.
Yeah.
I think the happier you'll be, because you'll just be like watching a show. What's going to happen next?
Right.
You don't tell the show. Well, maybe my husband still thinks that Ron and Hermione should have gotten together at the end of Harry Potter, but you typically just accept the show for how it comes out. You might have thoughts about it later, but like, you're just watching to see the next episode. And I feel like if you can just see how this plays out and what this turns into, and like as a spectator of your own life, maybe that's the key.
Yeah.
Again, easier said than done.
Way easier.
Easier said than done, everybody.
Yeah, that's right.
We're not trying to tell you how to live. Anyway, well, Whitney, this has been wonderful. Not because your story was so fun to hear,
right?
But it was. I feel like it's a necessary story to be told, because it's unique to you, but it's probably not that unique.
Right.
And again, that's why this show exists, is to bring some of these things out of, like, I would never know any of this had happened to you just by, reaching out to you and saying, hi, how are you? You'd be like, I'm doing well. You might give me a couple things, but most people aren't going to go into the depths after not seeing each other for how many years?
Yeah.
I've almost lived in Colorado for 8, which is crazy. But yeah, I'm so thankful that you were willing to tell your story, and the hot potatoes were doozies. So I appreciate you so much, and I know this will help somebody out there not feel so alone in their own journey.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Ashlyne. It's been fun, and honestly, it's been good to remember that stuff. Like, I think
it's cathartic.
It really is. I think we do experience these hard things, and we try to just like, hey, we should be done with them. But yeah, it's a part of who you are, and it should change you because it's a big deal. So yeah, it is
a big deal. Oh, this has been great. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And everyone else out there, thank you for listening or watching. If you have questions for Whitney, I don't know if she wants to hear from everybody, but I sort of volunteer everybody on my show, because I do think it makes a difference to be able to reach out to someone and ask them in real life, in real time, and say, how is this? And I feel like you would say yes because you are a counselor.
Yeah.
I'm going to put her information in the show notes. And if you know anyone who could benefit from hearing episodes like this, please share it with them. No one should have to go through this stuff alone or think that they are one of a kind in this way. We all want to be one of a kind, just not in the bad ways. And so if this could help anyone else in your life, please share it with them. We'll be back for the next episode with another story. Until then, take care.